Now, if there's one thing we know about Ben Carson, it is that he is pro-life. I know it because of his whole career, and during the debates, he just kept talking about how he would listen to God, and you say, "Oh, Yahweh, what do you think I should do?" Oh, okay, all right. He says he's against abortion. I mean, if you read the Bible, he's actually not against abortion, but reading the Bible, that takes a lot of work. You know how these guys are always like, read the bills. They haven't even read the bills. You guys haven't even read the Bible. And part of the Bible, God says, hey, if you think your woman cheated on you, give her some poison. And if she has an abortion, great, then that bitch cheated on you and she had it coming. Read the Bible. Maybe not those exact words, but the exact meaning of those words. Yes, it's in there. Read the Bible. Anyway, so Ben Carson is outraged by Planned Parenthood, anybody who does abortions. And then Planned Parenthood selling the fetuses that have been aborted for scientific research. Outraged. Here he is on Fox News being just that outraged.
And so it's all for a good cause because those fetal organs are going for a good use. Your take on that?
Well, you know, it's been overpromised what the benefits of fetal research would be and very much underdelivered. And if you go back over the years and look at the research that has been done and all the things that it was supposed to deliver, very little of that has been done. And, you know, a little developing baby is just an incredible sight to behold. At 17 weeks, you know, you've got a nice little nose and little fingers and hands and the heart's beating, and it can respond to environmental stimulus. I mean, how can you believe that that's just an irrelevant mass of cells?
At 17 weeks, he says, you know, you got the nice little nose, you got a human being there. Interesting. Well, let me quote BuzzFeed here on an interesting new revelations. Late on Wednesday, an OBGYN and science writer, Jen Gunter, revealed on our blog a 1992 study in which Carson and 3 other colleagues used tissue from the fetal brain and nasal cavity to better understand the development of the chambers or ventricles of the brain. These tissues were obtained from 2 fetuses aborted at the 9th and 17th week of gestation, the paper says. Oops. Now what happened, Dr. Ben Carson, famous neurosurgeon, famously pro-life? I thought you said it was a baby, and how could you do that? And apparently back in the day, you're doing all kinds of scientific experiments on those fetal tissue. Okay, here comes the bogus explanations. He says, if you're killing babies and taking the tissue, that's a very different thing than taking a dead specimen and keeping a record of it. No, it's not. Wait, hold on. People at Planned Parenthood aren't grabbing random people off the street and be like, okay, let's go kill your fetus and then give it to, and then sell it. No, that's not what's happening. People are walking in, okay, and Planned Parenthood, it's a tiny percentage of what they do, but some people walk in and say, hey, I need an abortion. They pay for the abortion, and then Planned Parenthood has 2 choices at that point. They didn't ask anybody to do it, they're just providing a service. But then they have 2 choices once the abortion has already happened. Do we take this and throw it in the garbage, or do we give it to science to be studied? And if we're going to ship it to whatever lab is going to study it, like Dr. Ben Carson studied it back in the day, well, can they pay for the shipping costs? That's it. If they don't get the shipping costs and they go out of pocket, then they got to ask the American taxpayer for more money, and they don't want to do that. So they're like, pay the shipping costs. That's it. Nobody's making a profit at all, not a dime. And in those so-called expose videos, they say it clearly. For shipping costs, we don't make any money off of this. Where's the expose? Anyway, so Dr. Ben Carson, the things that you did research on is because people, after their abortions, saved the fetal tissue so that you could do work on it so you could save lives. It's the same exact thing. It's not a little different. It's the same exact thing. More bullshit excuses from Dr. Ben Carson. There's absolutely no contradiction between the research I worked on in 1992 and my pro-life views. The issue of fetal tissue has everything to do with how the tissue is acquired. Nobody's snatching up people's fetuses. After the abortions, they donate it to science so you can do research on it. Same exact thing. All right, one more bullshit excuse from Carson. My primary responsibility in that research was operating on people to obtain diseased tissue for comparison to bank tissue samples. Killing babies and harvesting tissue for sale is very different than taking a dead specimen and keeping a record of it, which is exactly the source of the tissue used in our research. See, this is what drives me crazy about conservative hypocrites. When I do it, it's totally immoral. When you do it, you're an immoral son of a bitch. There's stories we've covered on the show of people who go get an abortion and then go join the picketers outside and claim that they're pro-life. And you're like, what the hell did you do that for? They say, no, I had to get the abortion. Those other people are doing it out of because they want to. It's optional. No, you got an abortion just like they did. There's Congressman Desjardins out of Tennessee. His wife got 2 abortions. His mistress got another abortion that he demanded that she get. But he said, but we had to get those abortions. But I'm pro-life. 3 abortions, but he's pro-life. Dr. Ben Carson takes tissue that people donated, does research on it. When people do the same exact thing, he says, I can't believe they're profiting from killing babies. But he said, killing babies and harvesting tissue for sale is very different. But nobody's killing babies and harvesting tissue. People are coming in for a service that they have every right in the world to get. As an American citizen, read a little bit of our laws and our history. According to Roe versus Wade, we have a constitutional right to get that abortion. The only difference is, instead of throwing it in the garbage, we're giving it to science to save further lives. And you know that, okay, and you're purposely lying about it to cover your own ass, or you're too stupid to figure that out. And you're one of the typical hypocrites who are like, oh, when I do this research on fetal tissue, it's awesome. When they do it, they're killing babies. No, you're a disgrace, man. So all the good work you did in science, which was good work, okay, and as a neurosurgeon, wiped away by now you tarring and feathering all your fellow colleagues who are doing similar research to save people's lives, all for your political opportunism. It's disgusting.